All right, welcome to round 5 here at Pro Tour Magic 2015. I'm Rashad Miller. I'm joined by Randy Bueller, and we're about to watch a sweet matchup with Gabriel Nassif versus Fabrizio Anteri. And there we get a look at Fabrizio, and there is Hall of Famer Gabriel Nassif, and we have a breeding pool. Not the land I would think that he would start off with, but why don't you tell us what Gabriel's got brewed up for us here?
Yeah, this is the Maze's End deck. The object of the deck is to get all 10 guild gates into play, and then play a copy of Maze's End, which says you win the game.
So right now, Gabriel has a bad start since he has a hollow fountain and a breeding pool in play.
Yeah, no, Maze's End is absolutely the key card in the deck. There you see it. The entire deck only exists because that card exists. It is both the victory condition and also the way to go get all the gates. So it can get a gate. It gets you mana acceleration. It can't be countered because it's just a land. It's an activated ability on a land. Definitely kind of a rogue strategy that's been floating around standard for a little while. Sort of pops up every now and then. Usually the decks are full of fog effects because you just want to delay your opponent doing their thing for as long as you can while you have time to go get the lands.
And oh, does he have a lot of fogs. But Fabrizio Anteri, he's got Jund monsters. So we're probably going to see a lot of this in the feature match area. Right now, both players are playing the get your mana right game with a bunch of Sylvan Caryatids and Elvish Mystic over for Fabrizio. He also has a Domri raid that's in play, already ticked up.
Yeah, the fog seemed pretty good against the red-green monsters. Gabe's even got a perilous vault out of M15.
You know what?
In his list.
Every fog counts.
Yeah. That's a pretty powerful fog. I mean, the more I think about it, I'm actually surprised there's only one. Seems really good in the deck.
Yeah, I kind of wish we had a, instead of a life total for Fabrizio, we had like...
A gate count?
Yeah, a gate count over for...
Like repurpose the poison counter somehow?
Yeah, we probably shouldn't go that far. But there are, it looks like there's 2 gates in play for Gabriel, so...
Yeah, needs to find the Maze's End, though. I mean, it's really hard to get all, because they're one-ofs. It's not like he's got a ton of gates. I mean, his mana base is a 1 of each. Yeah, there's no gate that he has doubles of. 1 of each gate, 4 Maze's End, and then 4 Breeding Pool, 4 Yavimaya Coast, a Temple Garden, a Hallowed Fountain.
So for Fabrizio adds a Pelucanos to the board, also a Coastal Crew Fix, which is going to give him some life, help him hit his land drops, but that Dreadbore on the top of his deck, not going to do much.
Nassif's finding more ways to play Sphinx's Revelation in more formats than anyone else in the room. Now, did you say you saw him debating this deck choice this morning?
I did. Before the tournament even began. Before the players had to turn in their deck list, I walk over to the then empty feature match area, and there's a Gabriel Nassif
sitting there?
Yeah, sitting there with a fully filled out deck list and an empty one.
Okay.
Yeah, and I walk in and look at the fully filled out one, and it's Maze's End.
Awesome.
And he starts filling out the other one. He starts writing down like experiment ones and Soldier of the Pantheons. I'm like, no.
Wow, green white aggro.
You're like, no. You know which deck your heart. Follow your heart, Gabriel Nassif. Play Maze's End. He was still undecided, but
so we have you to thank for this.
I'd like to think that I played a part.
Yeah, I know that he registered the list and he turned in the deck list. He didn't own all the cards. He then, after he turned in the deck list, he went over to the dealers to find out if he could buy the 4th copy of the Maze's End that he needed. They didn't have one.
Wow.
Yeah, so, I mean, Rich and Brian were telling the story. John Finkel took to Twitter trying to help his buddy out. You know, anybody in the Portland, near the Portland tournament site, have a copy of Maze's End, a friend of mine can borrow.
And then I shuffle. Sure. Just 3 lands and 1 Pelucanos. I think it's shuffle. Yeah. Then shuffle.
Genesis Hydra.
Yeah. So Genesis Hydra lets you look at the top X cards, where X is, you know, the mana that you use, and it also puts counters on it. And you get to pick a, I believe it's a non-land permanent that...
Yeah, it has to be mana cost X or less is,
Right.
is the trick. Yeah, Fabrizio's got a relatively straightforward red-green monsters deck. Doesn't really have a black splash. Does have, oh no, he's got a black splash for, it's more Jund monsters than just red-green. Dreadbore, Vraska.
Just make a shot
Yeah.
with him.
Bunch of one-ofs on the black side. Kind of cool.
Yeah. So this is going to be the board state that we're going to see for a while, where there's going to be a bunch of creatures over on Fabrizio's side. As you can see, the red zone is pretty full, and they're attacking. They have to deal 21 points of damage to Gabriel Nassif this game. But in Gabriel's deck are a lot of cards that say creatures don't deal damage. I'd say at least 10 to 12. I don't have the list. I'll let Randy be the number scientist here.
4 copies of Old School, and you see it in his hand.
3 fogs in his hand, 2 riot control.
There you go. So that is 5 turns of I'm not taking any damage.
And riot control also gains life for each attacking creature, I believe.
Yes, it does. Yeah, so those are the staples. Yeah. Those are the main 8. Oh my, nope. Scribbled. This deck list is a 4 scribbled out, a 4 scribbled out, a 4 scribbled out, and then a 3.
Do I have to guess the card?
Oh, you do. It's an M15. It's a goodie. It is the best fog in the format.
This is Gabriel Nassif's.
Gabriel Nassif. I'm going to call this the best fog in his deck, although it's more expensive than, say, fog. 3 copies.
I give up.
Of Aether Spout.
I did see the Aether Spout on his list, and
that's awesome.
And I saw the Aether Spout before I saw the Mazes End, and I was wondering what's going on here.
Nice.
And then it all registered. It's very foggy. It's better than foggy.
Oh yeah, it's a lot better than fog.
It's like Fog of God. That's what you
Perfect.
get for attacking me.
Fog of God.
So a lot of mana sources over on Gabriel Nassif's side.
Yeah, still doesn't have a Maze's End, right?
Does not have a Mazes End.
I mean, I guess he can just draw all 10 of the one-ofs, but that's not realistic. And it doesn't even help because the victory condition is built into the Maze's End.
Right, he still needs to then draw and activate the Mazes End. Stormbreath Dragon is going to come down, and Gabriel Nassif is going to read it just to see if it has the ability that can do anything to him without attacking. And it doesn't really.
It kind of does.
For my creatures. Yeah. 3, 5, 8 mana. Yeah. I will use 7, keeping 1 green for doing monstrosity.
Yeah, in response to riot control. For soul damage even.
Oh, wire control stops all damage. It stops the monsters from Stormbreath.
Yep, and he gains life equal to the creatures. It doesn't matter if they're attacking or not. So instead of taking a bunch of damage from Stormbreath Dragon's monstrous ability, he's going to prevent any damage that would be dealt and gain a bunch of life. So he's back up to 19. Yeah, you see a big sigh from...
Riot control is better than I realized. I didn't realize it stops the Stormbreath. Neat.
So,
meanwhile, on a back table, by the way, Owen Turtenwald up a game on Martin Yuza. Those guys are both 4-0.
And somewhere Brian David Marshall is pumping his fist because of Urban
Evolution.
Yeah, Urban Evolution just resolved.
Nassif's deck is awesome.
Mazes
End just drawing cards and gaining life. Like, I haven't seen a Mazes End yet, but he's got forever to find it, right?
Yeah. And do you think Fabrizio puts Gabriel on fog? Because right now there's only 1 green. Well, there's 3
There's
mana.
2 carries.
Yeah, there's 2 carries just open right now. So riot control is probably the fog of choice for Gabriel Nassif, unless he decides to save them for any other non-attacking damage sources. But that is really good because it stops you from getting burned out if for some reason there's a big X-spell, maybe Rakdos' return. Just stops that. I mean, you still have to discard a bunch of cards. But, but you know, another casual Stormbreath Dragon.
8 more mana. Another.
Xenagos has been making a lot of mana. We need a little counter on how much mana he's made with that Xenagos, too.
How much is it?
Okay, I'm going to fog.
Okay, so just straight up fog is happening.
Go.
Pretty dejected go from Fabrizio.
Yeah. Sure. Use Stormbreath on Nassif's turn. That's the right answer.
Damage for a number of cards in hand?
Yes. You should have 7.
6.
In your draw step.
Oh, in my draw step, sorry. 7, yeah.
Okay, so it looks like he's going to take 7 damage from Stormbreath Dragon, but he did draw a Mazes End. So the engine is about to slowly start churning.
How many gates are in there?
It looks like he has 6 gates.
Really? I mean, he's got a bunch of the Ravnica multis, too.
I thought he had his gates over to the side.
Is that how he's doing it? Yeah.
Okay, looks like there's three gates.
Yeah, it's a lot of... his mana base is one of each gate, but then he's got, all the blue-green multis.
Okay.
And then a couple other scattered shocklands.
Divination adds a couple of cards to Gabe's hand. The full grip of 7. He's been at 7 cards for the entirety of this game.
He's going to win this game, isn't he?
Well,
he didn't find a Maze's End for how many turns? 10? This is turn 10. I don't think he's missed a land drop. So 3, 6, 9, 10 lands.
Yeah, when you look at your hand and there are 5 fogs, and you look at your opponent and they're trying to attack you to win, it's hard. It takes a lot to go wrong.
He's gone 10 turns without finding a Maze's End, and he's still totally fine.
Looks like Gabriel's counting up the creatures again. Probably lining up his riot control.
Jamie Park up a game, by the way, in a Black Devotion mirror against teammate Tom Martell. And then, in news from the King of the Hill table, Jeremy Dizani has lost a game.
No way.
For the first time all weekend.
When does he do that?
Apparently, you know what it takes for him to lose a game?
Richard Reeves?
You got to find old school Southern drawl. Yes, Neil Reeves with the Misewell Games T-shirt. He's been running a store called Misewell Games.
I'm a fan. I'm a Neil Reeves fan. I'm glad to see him back.
I love me a Neil Reeves. And 4-0, playing Jeremy Dizani in the feature match area. Welcome back to the Pro Tour, huh?
Gonna discard.
Not only does Dizani lose that match, guess what Neil's playing?
Some type of devotion deck.
He's playing Dizani's Theros deck. Yeah, it's the first game, not the match, to be clear. He's only down a game. But, yeah, Mono Blue Devotion. Dizani has some experience with that deck, having won the Pro Tour. You can basically just shuffle up Dizani's actual Pro Tour winning deck, and it's fine in this tournament. Like, the main deck hasn't really changed since then.
Yeah.
So that's what Neil Reeves is doing, beating Dizani with the Blue Devotion.
Yeah, it looks like Gabriel Nassif actually played a restock to kill his, just to make sure the train never stops
Of course
rolling.
he did.
Had to discard a Sylvan Caryatid, but who needs more of those? They've already found their way into Gabe's land section. And a lot of dice and creatures over for Fabrizio Anteri, but those guys haven't been able to deal damage this game. Maybe once. Maybe Stormbreath Dragon dealt 7 one turn, but not from attacking.
Right. Remember that part where M15 wasn't really going to shake up Standard at all? Remember when that's what everybody thought?
Okay.
I'm looking at the Nassif list. The Fog of God, the Perilous Vault. Aether Spout seems crazy good in this deck.
Yes, it certainly does, especially in matchups where the the board is just flooded.
Right, and the other card that's crucial to Nassif's deck is Yavimaya Coast.
Yes.
Like, Yavimaya Coast is gigantic for making this deck work.
Yeah, green and blue mana are at a premium for this Maze's End deck, and having that third source to, fix your mana.
Yeah, I mean, previous Maze's End decks have been more like 2 of each. You're just trying to play a gate every turn
Yeah,
and
three
run.
of the Simic ones.
Yeah.
Just to fix your mana.
And, Gabe is like,
Alright,
1 of each. Look, I don't care. I don't need to win in 10 turns. I'm totally fine if it takes me 15, 20 turns.
All right, so Stormbreath Dragon, another Stormbreath Dragon on Gabriel's turn has been monstrous. Going to take Gabriel down to 5, but he's still holding a couple of riot controls, so at any point he can prevent a crucial amount of damage.
I've also seen decks gain life with that Sphinx's Revelation card.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
He's got 2 of those.
Urban Evolution, draw 3, so he can play an additional land, and it is a maze. So it looks like he's up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mazes.
Four gates and 2 mazes.
Okay, so we got 4 gates, 2 mazes, so we're in double maze activation territory.
Yep.
Looks like he has enough mana to also cast Fog on those turns. So time's running out for Fabrizio, but I don't think he really has a way to interact.
Yeah, I was...
Okay.
Planeswalker Ultimates, maybe they're relevant. Does Xenagos' Ultimate do anything here?
Yeah, you know what? I've never seen a Xenagos Ultimate. I believe it has something to do with bringing a bunch of creatures from the top.
Top
Exile
7
the-
cards.
Yep.
Put the creatures into play. But
11, you go to
that
6.
doesn't seem exactly relevant.
Oh, I didn't count the 5. Yeah, I go to 16. My bad.
Yeah, you had it there.
He's going
Oh,
to
yeah, I had it there.
riot control as a response.
Yeah, it looks like that's the play.
So it's also
What does he
7,
gain from
then
doing it
you
as a
have
response?
creatures
I'm not
and
sure.
lands.
It seems like he
What happened
would have
to
Don't you
liked
want
to
more
What happened
creatures to
the
come into
red
play?
ship?
possibly.
I
I
don't
think
know.
it's just
Oh,
exile.
exile, yeah.
All right, so there's a Stormbreath Dragon in the mix.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think Nassif just didn't want
Choose not to
enough.
put-
Like, the
well, I
Stormbreath
think
Dragon
I need to
activation
put
was
the
lethal,
holocrons
and he
for
didn't
this
want to get in a
if you
situation
want.
where
Yeah,
Stormbreath
sure,
comes into
doesn't
play.
matter.
Now he's forced to respond to the Stormbreath activation, and
Exactly.
Terry can respond with something.
Sure.
And he was a little short on mana. He only had the 3 mana up for the
Yeah.
1 riot
Yeah,
control.
no, I like this line.
Sure.
It's not worth trying to maximize the life gain. He just, like, there's such a huge difference between 5 and 16
Sure, sit
that
at 18. Yeah.
trying to get the other couple life isn't worth it.
There are 2 Polychronos.
It's
I
good,
put
you
them
put
to
it
the
in
bottom.
play.
Yeah,
Okay, anything else?
I'm thinking.
Sure.
Now, riot control is still in effect this turn, so if Stormbreath
Yeah.
Dragon does
That
get...
Xenagos is... That's the Xenagos he ultimated, right? It should be in the
I
graveyard
believe
rather
that
than...
is the Xenagos
Yeah.
that should be in the graveyard because it
Montgomery.
apparently doesn't have any loyalty counters on it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of hanging out to see what it likes to, you know, look at the work that it's done.
Got it. He's enjoying the party.
Yeah, he's like, look,
the great
look at,
revel.
like, look at what I did. Right, so there is 4 mana. And here's another
Yeah.
Xenagos.
I figured he went ultimate because he had a replacement. That makes
Like
sense.
Shinagos.
So Xenagos is probably going to
Lots
add
of
more
mana.
mana.
Sure.
Not sure what he really wants to do with that mana. Now's not a good time to activate Stormbreath Dragon. And he's got a Gripboard in his hand. Not sure anything else that's relevant.
Keep in mind, riot control is already resolved on this turn.
Exactly.
He has
This
6.
So there's no giant attack coming.
this turn is under riot control.
Yeah. It's a pretty appropriate card for a Great Revel. Xenagos Fueled Party.
So there's a Pelucanos for Fabrizio, but he decides not to add more things to the board. Gabriel draws another maze. So it's going to get him 1 maze closer. Has enough mana to activate 2 more.
Perilous
Mazes in.
Vault? There's the
And
Perilous
there
Vault.
is Perilous Vault. Let's see if we can
Wow.
get Perilous Vault on the...
A chuckle from Fabrizio Anteri. He just laughed.
things you thought you'd never
Yep.
see happen at Magic Pro
of
Tour
Turtles.
Wow.
2015.
This thing.
Perilous Vault
Evolution? Yeah.
can remove.
Keep Exile and this thing.
Yeah.
Basically,
For
remove
more.
everything that Gabriel Nassif
Yeah.
doesn't care about on his
Oh,
side.
fuck, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, both
you'll
blocks.
notice that the number of non-land permanents on Nassif's side of the board is just the Perilous Vault. Like, it destroys nothing.
That's
On the other
Yeah.
side, Anteri's only going to lose 4 Stormbreath Dragons, 3 of which have been monstrous,
Montgomery red.
2 Planeswalkers, a couple Lucernos. Wow.
But I mean, what do you do as Fabrizio? What's your
You're
what's
not.
your plan?
You don't have a plan for Maze's End. Like, you're playing red-green monsters or Jund monsters because, you know, you think you're going to be playing against creature swarms. You think, you know, that you have a good enough game against the control deck. You do not have a plan against Maze's End.
So why
I mean, I think
continue playing?
he's. If I was Fabrizio Anteri, I would definitely be looking at the scoop so that I can preserve time to win game 2 and 3. Like, I cannot imagine Anteri winning from this
Oh,
position.
look at that!
Oh, Vraska.
Vraska's a plan.
Funny. Does Vraska? Do her assassination tokens beat all the fogs?
Accept.
They don't beat the fogs, but there is a -3 that allows Fabrizio to destroy the mazes in.
No, destroy non-land permanent.
Oh, it is okay. Well,
doesn't
that,
destroy
that
very
doesn't,
mazes
that
in.
doesn't work
And
either then.
assassination is when this creature deals combat damage. So no, Vraska does not do anything relevant here.
Well, maybe he thought he did something.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, that's his one of. That's like, there's his tech. I would definitely be thinking about going to game 2. You know what? Honestly, his odds of winning, this is a terrible matchup for Fabrizio Anteri.
Yes.
Like, this is just not a good matchup. He needs Nassif to get bad draws. Maybe he thinks he doesn't need time to win game 3. He wants to deny Nassif time to win game 3.
I will exile your graveyard.
Like, his best case scenario is to win game 2 and
Gain
draw.
Some 3 life.
That's unlikely.
That can't be
That
your
seems unlikely.
game plan.
I agree with you.
Right, so Fabrizio's still going at it in this game.
1 sec.
Sorry.
I mean, he can.
Draw step.
Vraska can destroy the Perilous Vault, hypothetically.
Yeah, it looks like the Perilous Vault is about to
Yeah, I think that's
be
right.
opened, and all the perils will be exiled. Is that how it works? Or do they all go into the vault when you open it?
I think the vault is exiled along with everything.
Monstrosity this guy.
And somehow everything goes into the
Sure.
vault.
I take 5.
Well, I guess the spirit of
It's
Like
Dragon
some like
Ugin
Raiders of the
arranged.
Lost Ark
Exiled
thing.
everything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Ugin's involved, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, he arranged the hedrons of Zendikar to direct ley lines of energy. To
Got it.
disrupt one is to unleash devastation and chaos.
That makes sense.
I didn't just read that. All from memory.
Call.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's another Pelucanos.
21 damage.
there's a Courser, there's a Elvish Mystic,
Another
and you know, he did rebuild his board. That's
And search.
a reputable board for after, you know, all your permanents getting exiled, but it just doesn't matter because
So you gain
And this
4.
even had the last breath for the Courser, so no card advantage, no nothing.
I'm at
I
11.
think I really don't care
keep
about my
in
life
track, And
total.
he's at,
I think I'm
they
at
asked for the
26,
life
but
totals, and
I
Gabriel's,
feel
I'm
like
at 11.
Neither
and-
player cares about Anteri's life total.
Yeah. They stopped caring a while ago.
It's not even, yeah, I mean, I guess Mana Confluence makes it relevant,
Now-
technically.
Maybe decking is for Fabrizio's plan.
Wow. We have a new King of the Hill.
Really?
Neil Reeves is back.
And he did it in spectacular fashion because that
Neil
was pretty
Reeves
fast.
takes down Jeremy Desani. Desani's first loss of the weekend. And Neil Reeves is calmly 5-0.
Casually.
Casually
He's a very
5-0.
casual player also.
Oh, yeah.
4
Super
dragon.
cash.
Maybe it's an Iron Throne this Pro Tour. It's only had one person defend it. Like Desani spent 2 rounds there. Everybody
Yeah.
else is lost. See how Neil does next round.
That's kind of the exact opposite of the last
I'm gonna
Pro Tour. All right, so we got a lot of mana over on Gabriel Nassif being tapped. Is this going to be a Sphinx's Revelation?
gonna red for 5.
That is a Sphinx's Revelation for 5. That's going to
So you
bring
go to
him back
16?
up to 16.
5.
Meanwhile, Owen wins his match over Martin Yuza. So Owen goes to 5-0. A lot of people had him picked to do really well this weekend. I was looking at some of the fantasy drafts on Twitter. Lots of Owen Turtenwald went in the first couple of picks consistently. And yeah, 5-0.
He's a good bet.
Okay.
Yeah, Juza 4-1, still in pretty good shape.
Second range step.
Yeah.
Do you think every other match in the feature match area can end before this game?
No,
at,
because Tom
16
Martell's in the feature match.
Oh, Tom Martell. Okay.
And it's your turn.
No,
Good beats.
no digs. No digs on Tom Martell. But there's Vraska. Vraska gets ticked
What does she do, though?
up, which means that,
I don't think she does anything all that relevant.
no. The actual plus ability on Vraska does nothing
Right.
in this matchup.
Destroying non-land
Search.
permanents does approximately nothing.
Right.
And
Actually, I think
the
it actually-
assassin tokens have to deal combat damage, which
Yeah.
seems highly unlikely at this point. Another update for you, by the way. Reed Duke closes the gap.
Uh-oh.
He's had a tough road. He got paired against Sam Black at the 1-2 table. He got paired against Josh Utter-Layton at the 2-2 table. But he beat Sam, and now he's beaten Raptor. So Reed's on 3-2 to Desani's 4-1.
So we still have a race over there.
Still got a race.
That's good. I like a good race.
Yeah, I don't want that to end today. Either way.
Fog and
It's another. Oh, so another
Restock.
restock. It's gonna get fog.
Yeah, Scavenging Ooze did a number on Gav's graveyard. I think the Perilous Vault, mostly you had to get the Scavenging Ooze out of the way so that restock would be good again. Can't stop drawing cards. It's just too much fun.
Yeah.
Discarding all those non-maze lands. So how many? Well, non-gate lands. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4,
fog.
6. Looks like 7 gates.
I think it's up to 8. We'll see. We'll get him counted. 9 gates. The end is nigh, and Terry has played it out.
Yeah.
We are almost at the end of the maze.
Search.
Do you have it?
It's 9 and 10, right?
And search.
Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
so that was we were at 8, and that was 9 and 10, but it doesn't really matter.
Wow.
Here we go. Gabriel Nassif shows you how to get to the end of the maze.
Nice.
All right, so that was game one, and we will look in on our Jamie Park versus Tom Martell match right after these messages.
Ultra Pro is the place to go for all your Magic accessories. With card sleeves, deck boxes, playmats, and portfolios showing off the best Magic art, Ultra Pro is the standard in safe storage. Visit ultrapro.com for more information. You've watched the Pro Tour. How about playing on the Pro Tour? Qualifiers for Pro Tour Cons of Tarkir are going on now around the world, with winners earning an invitation and airfare to Honolulu, Hawaii in October. Visit wizards.com/PTQ for more information.
All right, welcome back to the standard action we got going on here, and we're going to have a live look in on Tom Martell on the left versus Jamie Park on the right, and Jamie Park's playing Black Devotion, and so is Tom Martell, so we have a little mirror here. I believe there might be some slight differences, or are they on a similar 75?
I mean, they're teammates, so plausibly the same 75.
Well, looks like we have one person with a pack rat in play.
Martell's on 12, Park's on 10, sounds like.
Yep. Apparently, Jamie Park leads 1-0 in the match.
Yeah. A little more of the expected this round with 3 Black Devotion decks in the feature match area.
Luckily, we get to pair them all against each other, so that.
And then Owen, wait, 3? No, maybe it's only 2. My bad. It was only 2. Well, I saw Owen, and I'm like, oh, yeah, Owen's actually on white-black mid-range, which
it's got some devotion in it.
Well, it doesn't have any actual devotion cards.
Right.
It's got everything else, but somehow the Gray Merchant turned into a Blood Baron. Now I don't know if that means we have to change the deck name.
All right, so Jamie Park has both Pack Rat and Underworld connections going, while Tom Martell is kind of just sitting there with his head in his hand, watching this Pack Rat. I believe that's an actual token Pack Rat that's being represented by, an actual Pack Rat.
Yeah, this looks a 75 card mirror to me. I haven't found a difference yet.
So another Pack Rat enters the battlefield for Jamie Park.
I think they're using cards as tokens.
Yeah, I mean there is an actual Pack Rat token in all of the tokens that have been created. So just makes actual Pack Rat, but we have to put the little piece of paper that says token.
Can't put one of those back in your hand.
No, you cannot. Well, it goes there briefly, then it disappears. Oh no, it never does. Never gets there. There's a real Pack Rat over for Tom Martell, but it might be a little too late because there's a card advantage engine over for.
Yeah, Underworld Connections makes it really hard for Martell to catch up with Jamie.
That makes it really easy for Jamie to just throw a card down and make another rat.
What's the Mutavault count? 1-1.
Mutavault count is 1-1. Pack Rat count is 2 for Jamie, 1 for Tom. Tom can make 1 rat and activate his Mutavault, which can pump his rats, but Jamie can do the same thing. He already has 2 rats, so...
these are white-black mid-range decks. We were told that they were Black Devotion decks, but our archetype list is just wrong here.
So these are basically...
Yeah, there's no Gray Merchants in here. They're Blood Baron, Elspeth, Obsidian, even Banishing Light. Yeah, they're 75-card mirrors, but they're 75-card mirror black-white mid-range. Yeah. I mean, which, like I said, it's basically take your Devotion deck and instead of Gray Merchants, go splash black for a trump card in the mirror match.
Jamie Park, fresh off of top 8 at the last big scene we were at together.
Atlanta. With one of perhaps the best tournament report in the history of the Pro Tour.
I didn't watch it
What?
yet, so no spoilers, please.
No spoilers.
I didn't watch it yet.
It's the greatest tournament report in the history of the Pro Tour.
But I like to wait until after the next Pro Tour so that the old Pro Tour is out of my head and then it's really a nice refresh.
You know what it is, though. You say you haven't watched it yet.
Yes.
It is, in fact, a rap video.
Yeah, so I guess that was kind of a spoiler.
Quite spectacular. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go check it out on YouTube. It is well worth the effort of tracking it down. These guys are both 3-1. Like we said, teammates on Channel Fireball Pantheon. Certainly seems like the team that has put up the best results for the last year or so.
Yeah, a lot of great minds. Put them all in a
And it's interesting. They also, like we saw Gabe Nassif say, Yavimaya Coast turns on my enemy color deck, and these guys have said, well, you know what? That black-white dual land will turn on our enemy tech too. They've gone with black-white mid-range.
I feel like
a lot of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's multiple decks floating around that team, including Nassif. But
all right, so Tom is trying to fight back. He's going to make another pack rat. And it looks like he's ready to block, but this can't end well for him. These are all chump blocks. There's no way that any of Jamie Park's pack rats are going to go to the graveyard. Tom's tapped out. He only has 3 rats, and Jamie has 3 rats and enough mana to make 2 more in many different ways. One being make a pack rat and activate Mutavault. One being just activate 2 Mutavaults. So there's got to be some double blocking that's being considered here. Some way to get rid of one of the pack rats. A double block is basically a 1-for-1 trade, right? I don't see that there's a way that Jamie can make enough rats that he can take out 2 of Tom's, because right now they're 3/3s, and he can make his to be 5/5s. So 2 3/3s on a 5/5 means 1-for-1, which, you know, it's a good trade when it comes to blocking pack rats. All right, so while Tom Martell is deciding how to block, it looks like our main table is about ready, so we can go ahead and head back over there and watch Gabriel Nassif with his mazes in deck face off in Game 2 against Fabrizio Anteri, playing Jund Monsters.
You've seen enough pack rats double blocking pack rat tokens.
Well, we don't even know.
Go see mazes in.
Yeah, we don't even know if that double block was happening. Tom Martell was deep in a tank. I don't know if it was a think tank or what. But. All right, 2 mana, and there's Scavenging Ooze. This is the plan, right? Scavenging Ooze is the only way to interact in any way with.
I mean, it beats down. It eats the potential restock targets.
Mm-hmm. So possibly get.
Nassif's numbers are absurd. Look at that. 479 pro points, over 300 grand. He's still only 30 too. I mean, he hit the Pro Tour as a teenager.
You know, he's making me feel old. He's making me feel like an old man. I'd hate to know how he makes you feel. It makes you feel.
No comment.
There's a Corsair Crewfix revealing another one, but as we've seen in Game 1, the quality of the creatures and the quantity of the creatures over on Fabrizio's side doesn't really matter. It's can you interact with fogs and with
to be
land.
fair, the plan at the beginning of the game is to put as much power in play as quickly as possible and sort of force Nassif to start casting his fogs as soon as he possibly can. So, I mean, we do that for a couple of turns.
Right. But then all of that life is just recouped with
I mean, you gotta make him have it, right? You gotta make him develop his board and have it. And Terry's stats are pretty good also, by the way. He's got, a number of those 4 Grand Prix top 8s. That includes back-to-back Grand Prix top 8s earlier this season.
Exactly.
And he's Venezuelan originally, but he's been living in England, and he will be the captain of the English World Magic Cup team. He has a gigantic lead in that with those Grand Prix top 8s.
Oh, there you go, Fabrizio. So we're gonna get to see, even if we don't see more of him this weekend, we'll see him.
Yeah, he'll be in Nice for the Team World Cup.
Right, so plan A, which is attack as much as possible.
Yeah, so Nassif takes, 6 down to 8 here?
Yep. Not worried. That is the face of someone not worried about creatures. Not that face. That face, that's a very different face. He wants Gabriel Nassif to die very quickly.
Yeah. Well, Nassif's at the point now where he has to start fogging or gaining life somehow.
And he looks like he has 4 natural gates. Fabrizio's half dead almost.
Yeah. You still also have to have the mazes in.
Half dead.
Half dead.
Half dead.
That's your story?
Yeah. Okay, maybe not half dead. 40%.
So
here
there
is,
it is.
Ooh.
Wow, what just happened?
All of those guys
that's insane.
back to the hand. Oh, you get to pick top or bottom, right?
You do get to pick top or bottom. That's insane. Aether Spouts.
So, Ooze is gone on top. One of the Mutavaults are on the bottom. One Mutavault on the top along with the
Okay.
Courser. And I believe he put the Mutavault on top of the Courser. Maybe you should have put the Courser on top of the Mutavault.
Yeah, I was thinking you can certainly stack the Courser.
Don't need targets. Just make it bigger.
The Pelucranos comes down, and Gabriel wants to read it. Can it do anything to me? Obviously, it has the ability to deal direct damage, but it is only the creatures, and I'm sure that's what Gabriel wanted to make sure of.
Yes. Divination.
Okay.
Divination wants to make sure he hits his land drops. He has plenty of land. There's a land. It looks like Corsair Crucifix might be the play. Oh, he's going to leave mana open so that he can fog. Gabriel is already forced to fog every turn
Sure.
because
Yeah, pretty
Pelucranos
much.
is
No
a
effects.
lot of damage.
No effects?
No.
It's like, oh, no effects? You're not going to make that
That's
a
just a bluff.
7/7?
He's got nothing. He's got nothing.
Wow.
That's well played.
Why? I mean, why wouldn't
And he's
you?
debating. He's got to sell it. He's totally selling this.
But why, if you're Fabrizio, why wouldn't you?
Because he wants to spend his
monstrous?
mana on something else. He assumes there's a fog.
Okay,
and
but
so he doesn't want to
Alright.
waste his mana. He wants to actually do something
Yeah.
else, accomplish something else toward
Courser.
building the board.
Yeah.
well, that worked out well for Gabriel Nassif.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. 23.
And like I said,
Go.
he's got to draw a fog. I mean, he can divination
So
next
you're
turn. I guess he did divin.
He has a Corsair Crucifix in his hand, so he can gain a life and put a blocker on the battlefield. So, I mean, that helps a little.
Nassif does? Nassif
Yes,
doesn't have.
I saw Corsair Crucifix in his hand, I believe. There it is, right at the top of his
Oh yeah,
hand.
you're right.
So those might have been out of the sideboard, but here comes a Corsair Crucifix, which allows him to
Corsair.
get land from every land he plays, which this deck is going to be doing. Card advantage. He gets to gain a life from that. And he reveals a Maze's End, which we know is going to probably come down next turn. But this gives him a 4 toughness blocker, which can either chump block a Pelucranos, which is probably going to have to.
And so he's got Riot Control up now.
He does have Riot Control up. And Golgari Charm is going to destroy target enchantment, and that Corsair is going to come back. I mean, it's going to go to the graveyard.
Attacks.
Yeah. And no right control.
Right, so attack with
Gain
2
two,
creatures. Riot Controls can
5.
prevent that damage and gain Gabriel
Shut
2
myself,
more life. It's going to go up to
return
5. And there is a Rakdos' return,
Oh.
which isn't going to deal any damage. Is that damage or loss of
5,
life?
right?
Yeah, it prevents damage to me too.
Sure.
So he's not going to take any damage, but he's still going to lose 5 cards of his choice. Yep, deals X damage to target opponent, and that player discards X cards.
Nassif clearly knows this deck well too. I mean, he's got all the interactions down cold. I mean, no surprise. He's obviously a great player, but I feel like he's run this a bunch.
Probably on Magic Online. This seems like
Yeah.
something you need something to do. You want to
Go see
kill
if you
some
can
time.
win an 8-man with
Yeah,
Maze's End. Win a daily.
this is definitely your casual fun deck. That
It's rebuild.
Just doing
As
very
long as
well.
It doesn't rebuild the next one. I think it's fine.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. It's already a known
sorry.
card.
Yeah.
so Gabe's got a choice to make here. He only gets to keep one of those.
Which of those is not actually in his hand? Oh, you played the Riot Control already.
Yes.
Yeah, he
So-
may have had that Riot Control last turn. I lost track of the divination. But it's possible that his bluff was not actually a bluff. He may have had the Riot Control up by then.
That is possible, but looks like there's a sideboard to Aetherling for Gabriel.
Yeah,
Nassif.
I was surprised to see that too. That doesn't seem spectacular. I mean, it's the kind of card that would allow him to win quicker.
Mhm.
Go.
All right, looks like what did he decide to keep?
What did he keep? He got
One
rid
of the 2 Urban Evolutions?
He
No, he
kept-
kept Rev. Fixes Revelation.
Yes.
That makes sense. Although not having any fogs in his hand is slightly awkward. Right, he can rev for what, 4?
He can rev for 4.
Which, is that good? That's not good
That
enough.
puts him up to 9. That's
4,
5, 6, 7?
I go to 8.
Well, he has the out of Forest plus.
Yeah, but is he drawing to just Forest
fog.
Fog? Wouldn't he be better off? Well, I don't know. No,
he,
yeah.
He took the chance for Forest plus Fog,
Yep.
and
I guess
that didn't work out.
there's nothing in particular he can bluff, so.
We're going to see a game 3.
we're going to see game 3. Like we said, Antari's plan has to be to just put as much pressure on the board as he can, deal damage, force Nassif to have it. And Nassif never really got the card drawing engine going, wasn't able to start stitching those fogs together.
Yep, and while we were watching this match, Tom Martell did decide on a triple block, but it wasn't enough, and Jamie Park wins that match 2-0. So this is our last match, quite the match. I mean, this is. I think I've been very lucky in this seat. Every time we're here, we get the sweet decks. we had Blue Moon when it first broke out.
That's right.
I want to say we had one of the mazes ins too a while ago.
I think that was at a Grand Prix, but yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember.
I feel like we had mazes in Block Constructed.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
So what do you think about that Aetherling sideboard plan? I feel like
I didn't love it in game 2. It's better in game 3 because there can't be that much time left in the round, right?
Well, that didn't take too much longer, but we so 14
and a half. Yeah.
So that's a reasonable amount of time for a game. And even with the bases in plan, you can win in 14 minutes.
You can.
You know, a couple of urban evolutions.
No, I understand. Aetherling wins faster. I suspect that's its primary role, is to come in, especially like if you lose the first game, you got to win 2 straight.
Now, are there... It seems like Gabriel Nassif's deck is tailor-made to prey on a deck like this. Now, were there dead cards in his main deck that possibly Aetherling or maybe a Corsair Crewfix or things like that are just inherently better than having a blank? Or is it that he felt that he needed to switch up his strategy a little, maybe go a little less of the fog and just controlling elements that way and put a couple of damaging win conditions in?
I mean, I suspect that he figures he catches his opponent with all his creature removal out. He doesn't even have to worry about defending it.
That outclogged the 13.
But I mean, if the game goes forever, I think after sideboarding in particular, he figures the opponent's deck is clearly going to be better after sideboarding. Like every opponent that Nassif faces all weekend long is going to have all these clunky creature removal spells in his main deck that he then gets to side out for things that are relevant. And I guess, you know, a lot of the anti-control cards are probably good against him. Like, you look at Antari's sideboard, Thoughtseize is good.
Okay, that's a good one.
Golgari Charm can blow up an enchantment creature. That's what we saw it do there.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't see the enchantment creatures game 1.
Oh, the Coursers?
Yeah, so, I mean, the other ability is remove... I mean, I guess the other ability
He's bringing it in just to remove the graveyard.
Yeah, I mean,
out from under those restocks.
Yeah, he did get double restocked.
Yeah, there's a couple Chandras. There's an additional Scavenging Ooze, an additional Xanagos. Sire of Insanity is pretty nice, and Rakdos' Return.
Right. Okay.
So I mean, a lot of the cards that you board against Esper Control and Azorius Control are probably relevant here because they're things like Thoughtseize, Rakdos Return, Sire of Insanity.
Now, it's maybe it's possible that Gabriel Nassif knows that the only real way that any deck can interact without having some special four mazes in is to go for the graveyard. And maybe it's possible that Gabriel Nassif decides to take out his restocks, so anything's better than a restock if that's the plan.
That's plausible. Yeah, restock against a deck that has Scavenging Ooze. It's definitely a little loose.
Right, so here's a Thoughtseize, the first really action-packed spell of the game.
Wall of Mulch. Stack the wall, stack the carry added.
It is a wall of mulch.
Turn your walls into cards once you get the Fog Machine. So he's got Urban Evolution. He's got one Fog.
Got a negate?
Yeah, and a wall. I think I take Urban Evolution here.
I guess.
I mean, it's a little slow, but
well,
he's going to get there, and then he's going to draw some cards and play some extra lands.
Yeah, I mean, in the Mazes in deck, you usually get there turn 6-ish, because chances are you're going to play a land that comes into play tapped. So is 6 turns enough to deal enough damage with that fog?
Through a fog? I don't think so. Yeah, and Terry agreed with Urban Evolution.
All right, so there's a wall of mulch. There's Scavenging Ooze.
Yep.
Another M15 edition, Wall of Mulch. Reprint. I've played that card a few times. I'm a fan. So, quickest block ever with that Wall of Mulch.
Yeah, both players are aware of the clock and aware of how long this matchup can go.
Block those.
Right, so a lot of quick
17,
attacks,
and a
draws,
44.
and
Yeah.
meanwhile, I mean, we've talked.
Anteri is discarding.
Yeah, we
One land.
talked a lot about what was going on for Gabriel Nassif, but there isn't a lot of mana over on the other side of the board. There's a second land, finally, and there's a Dominate. So
Negate?
a Dominate isn't really it's not threatening anything right now.
Negate that.
But it looks like Negate is going to get rid of it because
Well, I mean, it lets Fabrizio draw the creatures off the top of his deck to get to the land.
that's true.
Carried it. Go.
So more mana and also a additional wall that Gabriel Nassif can sack to his Wall of Mulch.
Yeah, it is almost time to start cashing those in. I don't know. I mean, right now they're doing
Actually-
great blocking, but at some point he can get a couple of cards that way.
Sylvan Caryata is a plant.
Oh,
Is
it's
it
not a
plant
wall? It's a defender plant?
I think it might be a defender plant.
My apologies.
Evolution.
It's only a plant, so you cannot sack that to a Wall
Never
of Mulch.
mind.
I mean, that would have been
Wall of
awesome.
Mulch is just in there by itself.
It's
Just
just-
04, sack me to draw a card.
Go.
Second Wall of Mulch.
Both.
It's like Wall of Omens Light.
Go.
The 04 or the card.
Yeah.
It's got to be time to draw one card, right?
Sack the wall another turn.
And he does. He draws a card. Looks like he drew a Simic Guildgate there.
You kept, right?
I kept it, yes.
Right, so Gabriel has a nice hand. He has a fog, but not really a lot of pressure over on the other side. So Corsair Crucifix is going to do a lot of damage, not actual life
18.
total-wise, but card advantage, getting the lands that he needs, getting close to a Maze's End,
Yep.
gaining a life here and there. So
Yeah.
this is not where Fabrizio really wants to be. He doesn't want to be at 14 playing against Gabriel Nassif at 18
Yeah.
with only 2 creatures that can't attack profitably.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, you're not happy to play your second land on turn 5 in any matchup.
Right.
It might have even been turn 6. But if there's a matchup where it doesn't matter, it's this one.
Sure.
Like, your opponent can't kill you in less than 10 turns, and realistically needs 15.
All right, so Xenagos comes down for Fabrizio and makes a 2/2 green red satyr. Doesn't attack. Nothing really good.
Yeah,
to
I mean,
come
he can't
from an
attack into the Corsair. It's doing a
Right.
pretty good job on defense.
So its job is to be 1 extra mana for the following turn.
Yeah, I mean, Anteri's game plan is to put enough creatures in play to force Nassif to start Fogs and hope that Nassif runs out.
Evolution.
He's still on that plan. It's just in the first game, he had lethal damage by about turn 5.
Yes.
And Nassif only drew 2 Fogs.
Right.
This
Sometimes
time,
that's how it happens.
yeah, this time we're already on turn 10, and he's nowhere close to lethal damage. And Nassif is ready to start Sphinx's Revelationing for half a dozen at a time.
Right. And he already has a Maze's End in his hand. He hasn't put it on the battlefield yet.
I didn't play land, right? No. No, because those 3 I had, and it's only on tab.
Yeah, alright.
I'm at 19.
Yeah.
Go.
Right,
So
so
it's like 5 gates.
5 gates in play.
Sure.
Yeah, I thought he had a Maze's End in his hand. Doesn't look like he has one. I'm trying to take a look at his hand right now. I don't see it.
Well, yeah, and the
I thought I saw it revealed off of a Corsair. He doesn't actually have a Maze's End. So he still needs that to win his game the old-fashioned way. Not sure if Aetherling's still in the mix right now, but that's not in his hand. So no win conditions yet, but it looks like he can live for just about as long as he wants to.
yeah, agreed. 2 Riot Controls, the Ether Spouts, the Sphinx's Revelation.
Ooh, there's a Chandra
Okay.
Power Master.
Next round, you guys can stay here. You gotta give that to Paul. Oh, yeah, I think I'll
Might be able to get some card advantage out of that to push the game in his favor. But right now, Stormbreath Dragon's getting in there, and Riot Control is going to keep that in check.
Sure.
Gabe's going to gain 4 life. Chandra's going to reveal a Overgrown Tomb.
13.
Go.
Go down and play untapped. Really doesn't matter. Your life total doesn't matter as much when you're playing against Maze's End until the Aetherling comes down. don't think he saw. Oh, he did see the 8th one. It was discarded.
Yeah, if you paid attention to the
Yeah.
discards from that Rakdos' return, then he knows about it.
He could have thought it was just another Aether. What, Aether Storm?
I'm at 20.
The Gilgate was green-black, right?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know why I put myself at
Is that a
20.
domesticate?
You get a 23.
Yeah.
24
24.
and 22.
So Nassif's up to 22 life. So even though Nassif has a handful of fogs, he doesn't really have to fog until he's closer to 10 life.
I mean, Anteri discarded on turn 6.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate, and it's really hard to come back against any deck when that happens.
5 minutes? I mean, the clock is the real enemy.
Right.
Nassif's challenge now is to win before he runs out of time.
I did 2 lands. Okay, go.
End of turn, exiled.
Yeah.
And so now Scavenger News is going to go to town on the graveyard to make sure no restock shenanigans can happen later on in the game. Riot Control hits the exile zone. It's like he sizes up an attack, but wants to add to the board prior to that. That's 4 mana. He might have just been counting up how much mana Xenagos is going to give him after he plays a pre-combat creature.
Dragon.
Yeah.
So there's a Stormbreath Dragon number 2. Xenagos looks like it's going up.
1 damage to you, 1 damage to him. You cannot block.
Response, I'm in a Riot Control.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right, so another Riot Control is going to...
Doesn't want to take that 1 point from Shana. That was enough.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there was going to be an attack coming as well.
Yeah.
Is that Sire of Insanity?
That is Sire of Insanity.
Hello.
That is
Sire,
a great card
that is a big
in this
game.
match, in this matchup.
Yeah. And each turn. Wow.
This
How
is
are you going to
exactly-
win without a hand, Gabriel Nassif?
Right, this is exactly what Fabrizio needed. And
1 of
Okay.
in the sideboard. But he drew it.
and it's a card that demands an answer immediately. And if you don't, you are playing off the top of the deck. And you know,
Well,
it doesn't
that's what
ma-
he's doing. He's
Yeah.
playing off the top.
Yeah, you know, both players have to play. Both players are playing off the top of the deck.
Wow.
But one player has 2 Stormbreath Dragons, Scavenger News, a 2/2 Satyr, and a Sire of Insanity in play. And a couple of
That's
Planeswalkers.
incredible.
Now, this Sire of Sandy is out of the sideboard, correct?
Yeah, it's a 1 of in the sideboard. He's got 1 Sire, 1 Rakdos' return. That's sort of the big, black-red bombs.
Right, so Domestication is going to steal Scavenging Ooze.
Sure. I mean, that's one of the reasons you splash black in the Jund Monsters. You know, you turn your red-green monsters deck into a Jund Monsters is
Go.
there's some sweet gold cards you get access to. Rakdos' return, Sire of Insanity being the 2 sort of biggest anti-control ones.
And even just Thoughtseize, just regular black spells.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the removal comes in handy in other matchups as well.
Now, all of a sudden, Fabrizio is in a commanding position where he's drawing 2
No,
cards
he
a
should
turn.
win from here, right? I thought Nassif had this locked up, and the only thing he could lose to was the clock.
Play that.
Yeah.
But, man, that hand that got discarded, Sire of Insanity off the top, and all of a sudden, he's ready to Sphinx's Revelation for what, 10?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 off the lands, plus the Caryatid.
2, 4,
Yeah,
5
he was
mana.
a Sphinx's Revelation for everything.
I don't know that there's even a card that can get rid of the Sire of Insanity in Gabriel Nassif's deck.
Yeah.
When you're a Mazes End deck, aren't you?
Right.
You're just like, I don't care if you have creatures
Yes.
on the battlefield.
Yeah, he's got
I'm
2
gonna-
last breaths, and
Sure, take 11, 17.
I mean, if they attack with it, you can ether spout it to the top briefly. No, he does not really. He doesn't kill. It's not like he plays.
Oh, no, because
He doesn't play Supreme Verdict.
Nope.
How many guys do you have in your graveyard?
Aether Spout, that's the only answer, and that doesn't work because he discards it at the end of his turn before the Sire even gets a chance to attack.
You know what? Hats off to Fabrizio Anteri for a well-built sideboard. Like that 1 of hanging out in the sideboard is going to turn this match from a loss into a win. Single-handedly, a 1 of. He got to see, what, half his deck so far? I mean, decent. It's only a 1 of, but he had a decent chance of drawing it.
And
He was going to get to 6 mana.
getting 2, I'm at
Obviously,
19.
if he gets the chance to cast it despite discarding on turn 6
What are you
or
at?
turn 5, I forget exactly what turn it
I
was,
got rid of
but it was
13.
kind of crazy.
Okay.
So I mean, Gabriel's gaining a few life here and
A
there.
few.
He's got a riot control on the top of his deck.
There's just like 2 monstrous Storm Breath Dragons, though.
Yeah.
Well, only one of them's monstrous so far, I guess.
I think the other one will soon get bigger.
Crazy match. Crazy, crazy match.
Little thought, Fabrizio's being pretty careful here. It feels like if I were in his seat that there's not a way that you can really lose this game. You know every card that Gabriel Nassif is going to draw.
I mean, probably. I assume he's played against Mason's End at some point. It's been around for a while.
And there's, of course, a Crucial in play.
Fair.
So you can see what's going to happen the next turn.
Yes. Riot Control main phase, not nearly as good as Riot Control on Anteri's turn.
Not at all.
Jeez, Sire of Insanity. It was the only card in Anteri's deck that was going to turn this match around, and he drew it.
Riot Control.
Oh, that's clever.
That was pretty tricky. So he uses the Wall almost to draw the Riot Control off the top of his deck. Prevented combat damage.
Oh, and now he gets to main phase his Sphinx's Revelation.
Yeah, draws. He's going to draw into his Sphinx's Revelation next turn, so he can draw some cards.
And time was just called, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that was time.
So this is turn 0.
We're going to see if
Nassif will get 3 turns, and Terry will get 2.
Yes.
Nassif may escape with a draw here. Hypothetically, he can rev into an Aetherling, but he'd have to have 6 mana untapped to cast it. That seems unlikely.
If he's still okay, so that's an Overload and Mizium Mortars.
All right. So
AKA Day of Judgment.
Yeah, you gain 1 life.
Day of Judgment, you.
You have a Vault as well. You gain 2 life.
Wait, when does this?
Nice try, Fabrizio.
It's like, would you like to?
Wow, that was well played.
It's like, oh, you have a wall you can.
My
go
respect
ahead
for
and eat.
Fabrizio and Terry just doubled. That was spectacular.
Did it almost work?
No,
Gabriel
Nassif did not fall for it, but I fell for it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I'll take 2 life.
Like, yeah, I'll get 2 more life. But what we're talking about is if that Scavenging Ooze were to grow to 5/5.
Right.
That domestication.
It would
falls off.
survive the Mizium Mortars because
It
the
would.
Mizium Mortars only deals at 4, and then the domestication trigger would have it go back over to Anteri.
It was pretty. That was smooth.
It was very smooth.
Very smooth.
That was super smooth.
Maybe Fabrizio smooth.
Fabrizi.
Fabrizi.
Beginning of each end step, each fairy
Gotta read Sire of Insanity again.
Fight like that one.
I mean, Sphinx's Revelation is one of the best cards Gabe can draw, but
that deck existed until yesterday.
So he can Sphinx his Revelation for some number. He has to leave mana up
to cast something.
Does he still have
7, 11, 12, 13, 14,
Perilous Vault?
He's looking at taking like 16 though.
Yeah, but he'd still be alive, and Perilous Vault would be on the battlefield.
Oh, that's your line?
Yeah, and then he can untap.
Rev for Perilous Vault mana.
Yeah.
Take Perilous Vault, escape with a draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good line.
What else? I mean, what else
he's
can you
gonna
really
rev.
do?
The whole question is, how much do you rev for?
I know what I can draw. Domestication. That's a bitch.
Debbie's
Perilous
thinking
Vault's
about
the
it.
card he can draw. He just asked himself.
Did he say that?
But
But
No, he said, "What can I draw?"
is
I
it
don't
still
know.
in the deck? Is it still in the deck? Is a good question.
Would you sideboard that out?
Possibly. It seems like a 1 of 2 of that isn't necessary for your plan. Especially the way that he won game 1.
It's necessary against Sire of Insanity.
Well, yeah.
He didn't know about Sire. He even saw Rakdos' return in game 2.
Yeah.
And like Anteri was 1 of each, not 2 of either.
Rakdos' return, you can kind of come back from. You know, like,
Right,
yeah, you
right.
get me.
Well, but I mean, if you see Rakdos' return, I think it makes it less likely that your opponent has Sire of Insanity.
Maybe. Do you even think he considered Sire of Insanity as a card before this game?
Depends how much he's been grinding on Magic Online with it.
Yes.
Like, if he's run into Sire of Insanity on Magic Online, then...
Rev for...
How much does the vault cost? Does it cost 3?
Okay.
It could cost 4.
I think it's 4. It's
So
a
his
disc.
plan is to get a land
Oh, it's
out
5
of
and
this.
4 to activate, so he did not...
Oh.
He didn't leave 5.
Oh, wow. what we have. A lot of land.
None of those do anything.
Nope, there's a divination. That's not going to do it.
I mean, he can chump with a Caryatid, I think.
Well, he's going to lose all of these
Survive a
cards.
turn. I know that. I'm just trying to figure out if he can even survive one attack.
Is that
At 31
31
life, then yes, he can survive one attack. Unless somebody's ultimate is relevant.
Chandra's ultimate, I don't believe, is 6. This is... So Chandra's ultimate is 7. And could be relevant.
Go.
So the play is to play Mazes End, play Sylvan Caryatid.
What's his gate count?
I don't know that are we even there?
I don't think so.
The real question, how many gates just went to the graveyard
Oh, right.
from Sire of Insanity triggers?
If any gate went to the graveyard, he has to restock it to get it back. 'cause
Exactly.
He's on one of each.
Maybe we can get a die that shows what turn we're in. There we go.
Just
Turn
barely
2.
off camera. Asking you shall receive.
I kind of feel very godly when I get to do that. I kind of wish the die would be oriented so that it looks like a 2. The right. Oh, look at that. Wow. Wish I had a ham sandwich. That didn't work. So Gabe's counting it up again.
How many Gilgates do you have? You're not winning this
I
next
don't
turn,
think
right?
so. I'd be
Okay.
very lucky. No, it's pretty close actually.
8?
I drew a lot, yeah. I'm 7.
Okay, yeah.
He has 7 gates in play, guild gates.
Crazy.
But I have to imagine that there's at least one in his graveyard.
Seems likely. He's checking for that now.
0?
I didn't
see any.
one. Oh, there's
Oh,
Azorius.
there's one. That's all it takes.
Yes.
So sad.
Although Anteri doesn't know that. He said lots of these lists play 2-ofs.
Yes.
I mean, if he mentally constructed a deck list after seeing all the Gavamaya coasts, maybe he could deduce that it's all 1-ofs. But
I wonder if this list has all 1-ofs because of he needed to find all these cards. And it was too hard to
no, I
find
don't
too.
think so.
No.
Monstrous was one of them.
That's, so there's a third Stormbreath Dragon.
the Monstrous doesn't sting as much when Sire of Insanity's in play.
No, I mean it still stings a little.
Yeah, it
because,
still stings, just
yeah.
not as much.
Yeah.
There's 14.
3 counters, they
20,
kind of sting.
28.
That's
I haven't
definitely
yet tried.
greater than, a vaccination shot.
So 7, 14, 18 that I can't do anything about. But if I block here,
I think it's 28. This is 7, 14, 20, 28. By
This
blocking
is
one
turn
of the
2, so Anteri only has 1 attack left. Nassif is...
But this is a 28 damage attack right
No,
here.
I get it. Basically, Nassif needs to come up with some way to survive the next attack, which is really hard when Sire of Insanity's in play. But like, if he could come up with a wall of mulch to draw a fog, I don't...
That would be
like
ridiculous.
restock to
To
get a wall of mulch. Like, it basically has to involve wall of mulch.
Then I'll
Yes.
use Chandra on you to send you 2.
Or Perilous Vault.
Yeah.
Like, Perilous Vault would do
Finish
it.
your turn.
Perilous Vault would
Perilous
do it.
Vault, he could play and activate. Some wall of mulch to draw a fog on Anteri's turn would get it done. But it's basically what we're playing for at this point.
We're going into turn 3 of extra turns.
Nassif, the slow roll. That is
doesn't
not
do it.
Cruel Ultimatum.
There
There
we-
you go. There's the handshake.
Yep, Fabrizio Anteri wins 2-1 in what seemed to be a really bad matchup for him, but then you just put that one card. It's that crazy
He
card.
won both the sideboarded games.
Crazy
He
card.
drew Rakdos' return in game 2. He drew Sire of Insanity in game 3.
Well, game 2 also had a lot to do with there not being a lot of fogs over on Gabriel
yeah,
Nassif's side.
but I mean, the Rakdos return hurt.
Yeah, it hurt, and it hurt. Actually, it didn't hurt.
It didn't hurt.
Right,
hurt.
right.
The card was the problem.
Yeah, the card was a problem. Rashad Miller, Randy Bueller. We're going to talk to Fabrizio after this.
No, I don't think we're going to have an interview. I think we're
Oh,
actually
I
headed
thought-
straight over to Rich.
Oh, no, we're not going to have an interview with Fabrizio?
No Fabrizi for you.
Oh. Well, all right, so if we're not going to talk to Fabrizio, I'm just going to shoot them back over to the news desk. So enough for us. Let's see what else happened in this tournament.
All right, thank you very much to Rashad and to Randy Buehler there, bringing you some pretty head-shaking action in round 5. We've got some great stuff coming your way. Without further ado, I'm going to send you over to the video wall because we have a Pro Tour champion waiting to take you through his deck. Here's Brian David Marshall, and he's with Craig Wesco.